Alright guys, so in this tutorial we'll basically be making a random cube, and we'll be incorporating a score every single time once the player touches a cube we'll be adding their score, etc. Okay, so we go on to our plane. First of all we need a cube, 3D object cube. Right, now I'll add some material or color to it, and let's say I don't want this cube falling down. First of all I'll select is a trigger. I'll add a component, physics, rigid body. We need this rigid body because we want to make the cube move randomly, so, and we don't want it falling down, so we'll just not use gravity here. Okay, now I'll go inside the first. Let's make the cube move in a random manner. Let's decorate the cube first of all. Okay, now let's go on to moving the cube. I'll add an FSM here. I'll say add a transition. We'll need two states to continuously update the cube's position since we want it to move randomly. And it's, oh sorry, go to state 2. We'll add another transition finished. So now between these two transitions what we will simply be doing is we'll be looping every single time. The main work will be done inside state 1, randomize and update, and state 2 is basically a dummy state. Random and update velocity. You don't need to specify the name, etc., but just for the sake of it, into that dummy state. Alright, so first of all I'm going to need a variable to store the velocity, say in my x direction. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to make a global variable. These are the old ones I had. Wait, let me just get rid of them. So say cube1 underscore x. Right, I'll add this right here. Okay, I'll initialize this to 0. Right, I'll go into state. Now I'll go in my action browser. I'll go for random float. Specify the ranges, say -1 to 1, and specify which variable you want to store it in. Cube1x. It's always a good idea to make your variables global so that it can be shared between different FSMs of different objects. Alright, you'll see in a minute why that's very important when we come to scoring. Now once I have a random float, I'll obviously want to update the velocity, so I'll go into set velocity right here. Okay, specify the game object. I'll specify that this cube, and I want to change the direction in x only, so velocity in x only. So, oh, and by the way, the order matters here, so I'll set velocity once I've randomed it. Wait a second, I'll have to drag it down here, there. So, okay, delete this one. How do I delete this action? Remove action, there. Okay, now I'll send an event. Say I want the what do you call, the velocity to update after every 1 second. So I'll just send event finished after 1 second. Now I'll go in my other state. I'll be in my other state by now. I want to send an event back here so I can loop every single time. So I'll just send an event. I'll send the event finished after, say, a second delay of 0 seconds. So I'll have a delay of 1 second, and after every 1 second my velocity of the cube in x direction will keep changing. So I'll play it here for you guys to see, and there you can see random and update velocity, etc., etc. Alright, so that's a randomly moving cube done. Now we want to add scoring to it. So first of all we're going to need a character. We'll go in our standard assets, characters, third person character, the prefabs, and voila, there we have a 3D character. Now we'll go back into our cube. We want to add another state here, add transition. Now we'll need another one. First of all, another event. Go in the event browser. Always use the event browser. Don't go for system events from here directly, because that might end up actually giving us results that we don't really want. Alright, so now I'll add a transition, trigger enter, and say I just want this to score once for one particular cube. So I'll just use, I won't loop it back here, I'll just use this once. I'll name it as scored. Alright, now I'll go inside my action browser. But before that I need a variable to keep track of this current score. So I'll go in my global variables. I'll define a new variable called score. add it, initialize this to 0. There we go. So now I'll go back into my states and events, state for this, and now I'll add float add. Say whenever it enters this state, it will add 5 points to it. Okay. Don't select any of the other options, just want it to add once. So we're done. And now every time our user touches this, our score global variable will be updated by 5. Well, it will be updated once actually, because we didn't loop it. So now we need to display the score as well. So I'm going to make an empty game object. I'm going to add its FSM. Again, we'll need 2 states because we want to constantly update the score, not just update it once or whatever, etc. So add transition finished, as we did before. Add another transition finished. Now I'll go inside here. I'll need a float to string converter because our whatever we display on the screen is going to have to be a string, and our score is actually a float variable. Now we need another global variable of the type. Wait a sec. Global variables. This man. Wait a second. What's wrong here? Wait a second. Let me just see here what the issue is. Okay, so I'll go to my state as well. I'll just add a new global variable called score underscore str. There we go. Now what I want for this is to be updated regularly, so I'll just send an event, and I want this to be updated regularly, guys. So 0 delay. Again, send event here. 0 delay. What I forgot to do right before this is I need another action in between. Right here, action browser. I'll add a GUI box, graphics user interface box, not graphics user interface text. Okay, you need a box here. So before I send the event, I want this box display to display the score. So I'll go here, the text, and I'll just put in my string variable right here. There we go. This should give us our variable. Oh wait, by the way, we need a slight delay, so we'll add a very slight delay right here, say 0.001, so it does display the score. So there we go, we have the score up there. See, I moved through the cube once and it updated to 5. Alright, I'll be uploading this base code and with some other features for your assignment number 2 and 1. Thank you for watching.